Hey guys, today's video is about Breteuil, and this head unit has 2 GB of RAM and an 8-core CPU. It has wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, and it only costs $150. Let's check it out. So this was actually sent in by one of my subscribers, Matthew. He ordered it for his MG ZS, which is why it is in this fascia, which is specifically for the MG ZS. Breteuil did not have the CAN bus decoder for this unit in stock, so Matthew ordered it from another AliExpress store, but then the Chinese New Year happened and obviously all the factories went on holiday, so there was some delay. So whilst he was waiting, he offered to send it to me so that I could do a review on the channel, which was really awesome. So thanks very much for that, Matthew. Now there was a Breteuil logo on the bottom of this, which Matthew removed because he didn't like the look of it. But other than that, it has never been used. It's never been switched on until now. You can see on the front here, it is just a generic Android head unit, similar to all of the other brands. It's designed in this way so that it would fit into this fascia, this MG ZS fascia. That's what makes these head units really good. They're compatible with lots of fascias for lots of different cars to make them look factory in your car, which is really cool. Now, Matthew did give me permission to remove it from the fascia, but I'm not going to do that because sometimes they're quite brittle from experience, and I don't want to break it before he has an opportunity to actually install it in his car. So what we have is the FM antenna input here, the GPS antenna input, 4G mobile antenna here. You have this fan which has this wire which will be plugged into one of the looms which goes into the back of it. You have various connections which I'll go into in a moment, and then you have the main loom entry point over here. And that's pretty much it. Breteuil sent it to Matthew in this plain brown box with a bit of foam on the inside, which is why I didn't bother doing an unboxing, because that really wouldn't have been very interesting. So we got some wires in the box though, which I'll show you now. So we have a camera input wire. We have the loom, which is specifically designed for Matthew's MG ZS, an external microphone, 2 USB ports, the 4G mobile data antenna, the GPS antenna, and we have this loom which has a subwoofer, front left and front right pre-out. So it's got 3 pre-outs, no rear speaker pre-outs unfortunately, but that's what you normally get with the more budget head units. Video in, video out, auxiliary input in the form of RCAs. We have the mobile data SIM card holder, an external microphone, and we have the plug for that fan that's on the back of the unit. And that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this up in the jukebox test station behind me, and we're going to have a play and see how good it is. Let's do that now. And so here it is installed in the jukebox test station, and if you haven't seen the jukebox test station, it is basically a classic jukebox which has been modified to work with Android head units. The power button represents the ignition being turned on, so let's see how long it takes to boot up. So I can hear the fan spinning and the Breteuil logos on the screen. Yeah, it's a very clear hum from the fan on the back of it. It's a very interesting startup animation there with audio as well, the car revving up. So that's fully booted up now, and I will say that there is an audible hum coming from that fan on the back. Probably not going to be audible over the noise of your car engine, or obviously if you're listening to music, but it's there. Now remember that sticker on the top did say that it's QLED. There is no way that this is a QLED screen, or if it is, it's a really bad one. The point of QLED is that it gives you lots of contrast, real deep blacks, nice, sharp, vivid colors. And whilst this is colorful, it just simply doesn't have the depth that you would get from a QLED screen. But that's irrelevant. This is $150. Having the best contrast is not really the biggest thing. So the Breteuil screen is 720p in resolution. That's totally fine for an Android head unit, and you can see that all of the icons and everything on the screen is nice and sharp, and that's what we're looking for when we come to this kind of screen. You can see it has these 5 capacitive touch illuminated buttons here: power, home, back, and volume up and down. They are illuminated in pink, but I cannot find in the settings anywhere where you can change the color of these buttons, so it doesn't look like it's possible. So on the left side here we have a navigation bar which has the time and date, shortcut to navigation, Bluetooth, and your settings. Up on the top left here you have my favorite widget, which actually allows you to run full applications from within the actual launcher window itself, and you access this by going to settings, going to general, and then you can go into navigation application settings, and you can choose pretty much any app you want to run within that window itself. On the top right here you have a widget for playing back local music. Down here we have the FM radio widget, and I'll show you the FM radio in just a second. And then you have the ability to choose 5 applications of your choice to have the icons on the actual dashboard itself, which is really good as well. As you can see, I have Spotify and Waze right there waiting for me to test in a second. And then to get to the rest of your apps, you just slide and all your apps are here. Okay, so the software that Breteuil has given you for the radio is actually rather good because it gives you the actual RDS names on the preset buttons and in the area where you can see what radio station you're listening to. So that's really good. Most Android head units just show you the radio frequency rather than the actual station names. So I really do like the fact that this shows you the RDS station name. Well, let's talk about specs. Now, what I normally do with all Android head units is run 2 applications. One of them is the Geekbench 5 benchmarking tool, because I'll do a little benchmark and see what score it gets. I have a spreadsheet which is publicly available so you can see where head units rank. This one doesn't allow the benchmark to run. It will get to about 85% and then crash. I did try it like 4 times, but yeah, it's not having it at all. That might be because they have blocked it. So you can see it has an 8-core CPU, 4 cores at 1.2 and 4 cores at 1.6, running at a resolution of 720p and Android 10 with 2 GB of memory. I can tell you the other app that I like to run on these head units is Fake Device Test, because it tells me if there's something iffy about it. Now, what happens is it crashes every time. It will not tell me any information. I can tell you why. It's because this head unit has been programmed not to allow these assessment tools to work. If we actually have a look in the settings here, go to About, you can see it says Android version 12. On the screenshot from Fake Device Test, it does actually show that that is being spoofed, and it's really Android 10, which is what they say on the website. But I mean, why fake it? Like, that's a dishonest thing that these Android head unit manufacturers do, is they fake the version, and that's all very shady. But honestly, at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter if the device works as it should. So let's do the normal speed tests, and that is where we run Spotify and Waze and see how long these programs take to boot up. So here's Spotify. So that's not too bad. Remember, it's a $150 head unit. It's definitely not the slowest head unit I've ever tested. So far, so good. Let's try Waze. So that wasn't too bad. Obviously, one of the other benefits of having an Android head unit is that you can run any other app really that you want. Now, interestingly, I was able to install Netflix straight from the Play Store on Android 10 on this device, which is actually really, really good. Normally you have to sideload it, but on this head unit it actually allowed me to do it straight from the Play Store. Now, there's no delay between the audio and the video on Netflix as well, which is something that I look for on these cheaper units. This one seems to be perfect from that standpoint as well. That's really good. So we'll try YouTube. Yeah, so there's no delay whatsoever with regards to the audio and the video, and this is a 1080p video, which is fine. Right, let's try Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So we're going to go to Bluetooth, and we're going to search for a phone. So you can see my OnePlus Open is here, so I'm going to tap this. And on my phone it says Car Kit Blink and a pairing code, so I'm going to try 0000. Okay, so it says pair success there. Now, on other head units, this would have gone directly to Android Auto, but that hasn't happened on this, so I'm going to see if I can find the Android Auto app. So I'm guessing it's T-Link 5. Oh, yeah, there we go. So straight onto Android Auto here. Yeah, it's playing music directly from my phone here as well. There's not too much lag going on there. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, so this is totally fine. Android Auto is working perfectly fine. I'm going to do the same with the iPhone now. So I go to Bluetooth, search. That's Stuart's iPhone, so just tap that. enter the pin, which is 0, 0, 0, 0. And it says pair success, and my iPhone is saying connected. Again, on other head units, I would expect it to go straight into Apple CarPlay. It hasn't, so again, we are going to go to T-Link 5. Connecting, please wait. Use with CarPlay, use CarPlay. And there we go. There you go, you get 8 icons on the screen, looks fine. Navigation, music, playback, and the search bar as you normally would with Apple CarPlay. So that looks pretty good. Let's just open Waze full screen. Yeah, it's totally fine. There's no problems with it at all. That's totally fine. So Android Auto and Apple CarPlay work absolutely fine on this. Right, it's time to talk about sound quality. If we go into the equalizer settings, you'll see its graphic equalizer, and you'd be forgiven for thinking it has a 24-band graphic equalizer, but you'd be wrong, because if you hit this little button here, it shows the other 24. So it actually has 48 bands of frequency for you to modify in the equalizer here, which is pretty damn good. Gives you lots of control over the audio. The other thing is how you can control that. So you can, of course, move all of these bars up and down where you want to, but one of the ways that I really like to modify the audio is by moving my finger along this. Oh, it crashed. Let's try that again, shall we? So, as I was saying, I like to move my finger along the equalizer here. Okay, well, that's not very good. Let me kill all the apps and we'll try this again. Okay, can I do it now? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's what it does. By moving your finger along this, you can change multiple frequencies at the same time. All in all, the user interface for adjusting the frequency in the graphic equalizer is actually very good. I like it. Now, if you're one of these people that just doesn't want to have to deal with all of this, you're not interested in getting, having granular control over audio, that's okay, because scene mode actually has presets. So you can choose normal, jazz, pop, classical. Just find one you like, and it's as easy as that. Now, going into surround sound settings, this actually changes the sound to impact a specific area in the car, and it does that by changing the delay. So it will send a few milliseconds of delay to individual speakers to give you a really good sound in one particular location. Zone is simply fade and balance. But you also have some advanced controls here as well, like you can change the individual volume of the speakers just here. And interestingly, you can also change the polarity of each of the speakers. So in case you wired one of them up incorrectly, you can actually reverse the polarity here and correct the sound. That's quite interesting. I don't think I've seen that before on an Android head unit. And then of course you have the control of the subwoofer here separately, because it does have an RCA pre-out for the sub. Sound gives you some additional settings on the left here. And then you have the ability to actually boost the bass here as well. So the main question, of course, is, does it sound good? And the answer is yes. It does sound good. It's got some good definition in the mids and highs. I have noticed, though, that the built-in amplifier isn't particularly powerful. It doesn't get to a lot of volume. And the lower frequencies, the bass frequencies, don't sound as good if you're just using the main amplifier here. If you go into sound and you increase the bass via bass boost, then you start to get into the more deeper basses. But again, it doesn't get very loud. Now, it doesn't sound bad at all. It's just that the amplifier in this head unit probably isn't as powerful as some of the other head units. So from a sound quality perspective, yes, it is good. It's just not as powerful as some of the more expensive units. And again, that's fine, because this unit is only $150. But you do get that definition of sound, so it does sound good. And that's pretty much it for this video. If I've missed anything on this head unit, please do ask in the comments section below and I'll see what I can do to help. Massive thanks to Matt who lent me this head unit, and if there's any head unit brands that you'd like me to test before you purchase, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. Loads and loads of Android head unit reviews to come up. You might have noticed I haven't uploaded a video for quite a long time, and that's because I'm sort of between studios at the moment. So I've got some awesome technology in 2024 to show you. If you're interested in this kind of thing, please do subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I've got loads more coming up for you.